Welcome everyone. If I could have our merchants turn on their webcams. Thank you very much. Love to see your faces. So for everyone attending today, thank you for taking the time this afternoon. We are entering a very interesting time in the holiday season. We've never seen something like this. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and the holidays are going to be very unique. So today we wanted to take the chance to talk to 3 merchants and discuss how they are planning and going to strategize for this period. But firstly, before we get into things, I'd like to introduce our partners and co-sponsors, Space48, Clevu, and Brightpearl. Space48 is a unique UK leading e-commerce agency and Shopify Plus partner that delivers stunning, intelligent websites for global retailers on Shopify Plus. We're also joined by Clevu, the leading end-to-end discovery platform for retailers. Clevu works with some of the largest retailers in the UK to offer AI and NLP powered on-site search, visual merchandising, personalization, and smart category navigation solutions to optimize the customer shopping journey. And lastly, we're joined by Brightpearl, the retail operation platform for retailers, wholesalers, and brands. Brightpearl automates back-end operations from sales and inventory management to CRM and logistics so that merchants can focus on growing their business. And most importantly, today we have our merchants. I'd like to introduce Kat Evans, the CMO of Tech21, Clifton Vaughn, co-founder of Natural Baby Shower, and Charlotte Cow, head of performance marketing at Joseph Joseph. Thank you for taking the time. So to get into things, I think it'd be great if we could start with Kat. Can you tell us a bit about how you got started as a brand, how the brand has really evolved, and what technologies have you really leveraged over the past few years that you would say have helped you kind of scale the brand?
Yeah, so the brand started just about 15 years ago. Will be on the 1st of December. And it was actually founded more on material than it was on, so we sell mostly phone cases and cases for technology. So that it was actually backed by a Dragon's Den offering that our founder did. So since then, we are more of a wholesale partner, and we obviously had the site. We've had the site for a number of years on a Magento 1 replatform to Magento 2, but it's really only probably in the last 6 months that the business has really focused on digital. And there's a view now that we need to go through a digital transformation in order to increase our growth going forward, especially in this day and age. And luckily, we made that decision before really lockdown and the changes in the world started. So that's really our change in direction going forward. And that's where we've come from.
Amazing. Thanks for sharing. Clifton, I'd love to hear a bit more about Natural Baby Shower. Kind of same questions. Tell us a bit about the brand and really how you've grown.
Yeah, thanks for some Clifton Vaughan from Natural Baby Shower. We started online. We've been we started about 12 years ago, and we actually started with a kind of home built kind of online shopping experience, and then we replatformed onto the first SaaS program that came along from Magento, and then we had an absolute nightmare on that, so we switched to Shopify. And we switched to Shopify in around 6 years ago now, and that's been a complete success since we replatformed. We've sat down with the brand as a best way we could possibly look at our online structure was to put the best experience in front of the customer. So always looking at the technology stack that we had and making sure that we provide that easy experience online, whether it's the same experience in online as in also inside the store. We set up a store about 5 years ago. to also give that touch and feel in the baby market. But yeah, our concentration was on online at the start, and we've had some nice growth over the last few years, and especially in this times we are at right now, where online shopping is more important than ever. We've had to change and adapt to some of the strategies that we're selling online. And I think it's really like now this really is quite an important period that we're coming into now, to maintain that service level and to make sure that we hit all of our customers in the right way and take on new customers and be able to deliver the same service. So we're very much concentrating a moment on our technology stack and making sure that everything's as lean as possible.
Well, we're definitely going to dig into that in a bit. But Charlotte, same question. Joseph, I think all of us probably have a few of your products in our households. I'd love to hear a bit more about really how the brand's been, and I think where is the brand going now?
Sorry. Yeah, so the brand was founded about 15 years ago as well. And it's essentially a wholesale business. We do have the direct-to-consumer channel via josephjoseph.com. It's actually quite a small portion of the overall business, but so we've been selling online via D2C for a number of years now. We were on Magento 1 until May this year, so we recently replatformed to Shopify Plus. And I think that will definitely help us growing the D2C channel going forward. We had a number of challenges in terms of, with the usual Magento challenges, basically. So we're really happy to be on Shopify Plus and scale really from there. In terms of going forward, the strategy is also to go through a digital transformation for the brand. It was definitely the case before COVID, but it's even more important now that we're in this new pandemic world. So we're going to heavily invest in D2C going forward. Yeah.
Amazing. Thanks for sharing. So digging in a bit, and I'd love to ask all of you this, and I'll ask individually if you want to, but if anyone wants to chime in, please speak away. How long have you been a Shopify Plus client, and is there anything that you've learned along the way that you wish you would have known way back at the beginning?
I think from my point of view was more the actual migration process. So going from a Magento to a Shopify platform, having that kind of migration plan in order, because the fact that we had Magento is all, we're quite an international business. So Magento, all of our stores were under the same kind of instance. Now we've got 7 different stores. So the actual migration was a little bit tricky. And I think looking back, I would have worked on that plan, maybe a bit more thoughts into it. The customer data migration and so on was a bit of a tricky one, but we got there eventually.
For us, we started 6 years ago on Shopify Plus, and I think it was the best decision we made for the business. I think what our previous SaaS software wasn't doing was actually changing with the times, and I think where we tend to change our business with what these leaders Shopify are finding in technologies and in the way that we work. So we're trying to obviously run a growing business, and that's quite a fast changing dynamic structure, and we try to jump onto, I think with Shopify Plus you're actually on those latest technological advantages, and so taking care of that and migrating any of the business towards that has been our key. And then for us it was all about, like, what did we learn? We learned that building that tech stack was so important so that we didn't fall over. The last thing that we wanted with the growth of our company was to fall over in front of our customers, not provide the right customer service, or to not deliver that product when we said we would. I think nowadays, like 5 years ago it was, or 3 years ago, it was even okay to just have a little bit of delay in your shipping, but now it's just got to be there. And we're focused on maintaining that whilst we grow. So being nimble and changing that, and Shopify Plus and Brightpearl has helped us grow our business.
Fantastic. And Kat?
Yeah, so we only launched on Shopify Plus a week yesterday. So very, very new to it. But I think, you know, for us, the real learning was how quickly you can also, even with a complex actual the requirements, you can re-platform quite quickly. So we had re-platformed to Magento 2 with a WordPress front end 18 months ago, and when I joined the business about 6 months ago, the site was clearly not fit for purpose. We obviously needed to re-platform very quickly, otherwise we wouldn't be able to do any digital transformation. So for me, really, the learning was how simple things can be, and how much information you actually can get out compared to Magento from the platform straight away. And as I said, how quickly we could re-platform. So we re-platformed from basically start, pre-discovery, all the way through to launch in about 12 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and we haven't got a simple kind of, it's not a white label site. We've got a lot of personalization and data requirements on there. So yeah, it's really impressive how quickly that was able to be done.
Amazing. And I guess on that point too, with the agency that you worked with, what was that experience like working with that? Did you work with the Shopify Plus partner?
So it was Space 48 that we worked with. I had worked with them previously on a Magento project in a previous business. So obviously knew the guys, but whole new team there. And yeah, I mean, for me, it's choosing the right partner for that. For the project is really fundamental. You need someone who buys it. Our previous partner on our Magento platform didn't really care about our business. It was very much those are your hours, we'll try and fit you in, even for Sev1 ticket. It was like, well, we'll come back to you in 4 hours. You know, it wasn't taken seriously. And I think that's the really important learning, is you have to have an agency who views it as part of their business, and will also push back on you and say, we're not going to launch this because we don't want to put our name to it. You know, and that's what should have been done in our previous site. So you need to have that trust and working relationship really with the right agency. And if you're not getting that, you're going to probably fail before you start.
Yeah, amazing. Well, I'm glad to hear that things have worked out so well, and obviously with our partners. So on to the next one. I know we have some people that obviously, Cliff, you've been on Shopify Plus for quite a while, and then we have 2 people that have been on Shopify Plus for maybe a week, and then maybe about 3 months. So again, feel free to hop in, or I can ask, but I guess with Black Friday, Cyber Monday with your business, where do you start? And I know that's a very open-ended question, but for each of you, like, where do you start, I guess?
We started back in May, I think. If we go start planning stock, and looking at what ranges we're going to really look to push, supply and negotiations and meetings for us. We've got 100 brands, so you know there's a lot of choice there for the customer, and we have to make sure that we're looking to make sure it's in stock and available for that customer in this period. I think that was this year's Black Friday Cyber Monday, I think, will be more of a diluted event over November, possibly into December. And in that case, the stock levels have got to be, your incoming stock has got to be right. I think there could be some shortages on the back burner of last COVID shutdown, and in China or wherever the products are coming from. A lot of us are from Europe as well. There's danger of stock shortages, and a lot of the suppliers are talking to us about that at the moment. So I think for us, it was about starting planning and making sure that we had the wash ups from last year. So every time we have a Black Friday, Cyber Monday event, we just wash up with what went wrong. How can we improve it? Where do we go next year? What was good about it? What was bad about it? And just really just focus on improving that and to make it more exciting and more streamlined. And I think for us, it's if we can bring in the tech that makes that streamlined and more automated, then we're all not working as crazily when those orders do come in and there is more sales.
Amazing. Charlotte, Kat, when do you start planning? I guess, when do you think about Black Friday, Cyber Monday as a big part of the business? And I think another thing too for merchants here, what would you recommend that they do? Like even just a few tips, I guess, whether it's when they start to plan, any things to look out for, anything you could share with us.
Well, yeah, for us, it's all about planning as well. And we started quite early on and just buying inventory as well, making sure we've got enough stock at the warehouse. But other than that, I would say what happened last year was also really important. So just looking back at last year, performance last year, reviewing what went wrong, what was actually working well, and try to build on that really and learn from the past. Last year for us, for instance, we had a major issues within our kind of technology, so only kind of more the middleware and the going all the way to the warehouse, so that kind of fell apart because we were taking too many orders. So this year we've got a brand new system in place, and that should hold really. So
yeah, and I think from our point of view, even though we do exactly the same thing, we look at the historic data and start thinking about Black Friday, Cyber Monday. For us, really, it's a brand new world. Last year we were very restricted to what we could do with the site because we couldn't, we could ultimately, the business pretty much just tended to do site-wide offers. We also have to match some of our partners' pricing. So because we are a distributor as well, and that's a predominant part of our business, we have to match competitor pricing. But what actually we've got now is a very stable platform that allows us to do more interesting, engaging offers and communication to our customers. And that's really what we're going to be leveraging this year. And I think actually we're going to end up probably doing having less of a discount ultimately being driven through the site, but doing it in more engaging, interesting ways, and actually understanding the engagement, which we weren't able to do last year.
Amazing. And I guess if anyone wants to chime in, is there anything that, I guess, going through a BFCM, any advice that you give to someone who's going into it for the first time?
From my point of view, I think you need to understand really rather than just looking at the sales and trying to capture it, you need to understand the full actual impact on your business, because it might not be the right time to do discounting. So in previous roles, in previous businesses, found huge success of actually, we drove more revenue and ultimately profit in the first 2 weeks of November by getting a better ROI on paid search with a lower discount in Black Friday deals than we did achieve on Black Friday. So just because there's a view that it should be the biggest sales doesn't mean it's the right thing for your business from a profit point of view. Where actually you could do the first 2 weeks in November and then the first couple of weeks in December, as long as you've got your supply chain set up to deliver in time, you may be more profitable doing that.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Like it's always great to chase the sales, but the impact those sales can have sometimes can be detrimental to the business. So we had 2, 3, maybe 3 years ago, we had a bad, we oversold, and then supplier letdown meant that our customer service rating dropped, and suddenly we were a few, maybe 5, 6 points off the scores on our review system. So that was then leading to people to start to like, you don't look so good in the marketplace when you're on site, when your site is around for next year, and it takes a long time to recover from something like that. So I think we really made sure that we're looking for maybe in stock items to sell with some oversell when it's really shored up stock, and you're not going to let your customer down, and you're giving them the insight to know when that delivery is going to come. It's about making sure that you're transparent in all the transaction, and I think that's what customers, they don't mind waiting as long as they know. Because they know, so obviously some take into account that the situation and where we are, and we need to just basically let them know. So I think for us, it's chasing sales, but at the same time being careful, keeping an eye that it doesn't have a negative impact on the business.
Yeah. Charlotte, any thoughts?
Yeah, quite similar to what these guys have said. Obviously, Black Friday is really important to many businesses, but from a digital marketing point of view, it's also cheaper to try to kind of chase the consumers before Black Friday. And it's really down to know your customer well as well, like who are they? Are they the bargain hunters, or are they kind of more interested in your brand and your story? Because Christmas could also be a really important kind of time for your brand and your shop. So it really depends on the brand.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like, ultimately a few things here taking from what I'm hearing from you all is, one, don't discount for the sake of discounting. Make sure that you're doing it if it's right for your business. 2, make sure that you have your fulfillment really figured out, because you want to deliver on what your customers are expecting. And if it's going to be delayed, share that with them. And I think it's all about planning and being transparent with your customers, because they do follow your brand. And that actually kind of tees up my next question pretty well, because ultimately my next question is, what role does your back office operations play in the overall customer experience that you're able to maintain during the busy holiday season? Because I'm sure you all are quite slammed.
If I jump in, for us, it's about making things as automated as possible. We partner with Brightpearl and Shopify, so a lot of our orders are that come through are automated. So we're making sure that the back office automation is running smoothly, and that the orders are ready to go, can just go through. And we're looking for a bit of a principle that Brightpearl taught us, which is about managing by exception. So we're looking for those problems. Where are they? When they come in, there's probably a bigger problem above that small problem. So just trying to nail down those exceptions and work with them and try and smooth it. Well, that's what we've been doing up to Black Friday. But there will be something out there that will change, or the orders will process a little bit differently, or something's not tagged properly in Shopify that's therefore not running properly. So we'd make some changes around that side. So that's the order processing side, and making sure that we can switch our labels. We're now worried about this year as something that's come to light, is possibility of courier shortages. So with the impact of, they're all full. They're all talking to us and saying they're full right now. So, the planning on that, if something's not left the building, how do we get it out the building? Is there a backup plan to switch labels and stuff like that? So we're working on strategies like that at the moment in the next few weeks, just to try and make sure that we can distribute these orders. And we've got quite a short period after Black Friday before Christmas is here. So the courier companies are going to shut down. So they're maxing. And this impact of lockdown in the UK is going to add to the sales online. So all of these, it's such a strange time to be planning a business with the anticipation of this. And it's quite worrying at times when you look at where your where your back office is can it handle it? Can it stay stable? And the only other thing I would say is all of our communication, we use another partner is Front, and the communication comes into that, and that allows us to communicate to the customer well. So we're picking up all of our information and data through that. So I think for us, it's about making sure those back operations are stable, can handle the data, managed by exception, and hopefully that will drive the sales and customer experience through our business for this period.
Yeah, same for us, all about planning. We actually so we've got the guys at the warehouse will also be, the warehouse will be open all weekend on Black Friday weekend, so we can kind of shift those orders. And we even have a WhatsApp group with the guys at the warehouse and our system guys. So we're all on a WhatsApp group, and just so we can get on things very quickly if there is any issue. We hope we're planning, and we've worked really hard, and we've got the systems in place now to make sure everything holds together. But if it does break somewhere, then we'll all be on WhatsApp try to fix it. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's very similar for us. It is about ensuring that so we have third parties in numerous countries that we work with, and it's making sure that they have the right forecast, but also especially in our shipping to foreign countries, so Europe and Australia, that we actually have the ability to provide the tracking information to customers. So it's around that communication piece as well. So having all of that automated through the whole process, because that will take a lot of pain out of our customer service. We had issues with it last year where the tracking numbers weren't there. So it increased the volume for customer service. We've also got plans in place for cover for evening and weekends now for customer service that will be going in. So we'll have 24/7 coverage to deal with any queries and issues rather than just our kind of Monday to Friday, which we would have outside of peak.
Amazing. So yeah, I mean, the back office of any merchant is key to delivering everything. I mean, it's what packs everything, it's what ships everything, so, and tracks obviously all your inventory. So thank you for sharing. Next question that I have is around, and again, anyone hop in, how important is product discovery for the user experience during Black Friday, Cyber Monday? Do you find that you're just, I mean, do you have, obviously each catalog for you is going to be a bit different, but do you find that finding, apologies, my cat is crawling on me. Do you find that you, I guess, having new customers find new products is really key, or do you find that a lot of your customers are already there and they know what they want, they know the sale? Like, what does that look like for you?
I'll chip in. Yeah, for us, I think product discovery is against 100 brands, and all these product types are really important, that we are selling the stock that we feel is, we filled the warehouse up with. So making that available via our recommendations on site and powered through like the technology like Klaviyo, and you can then just power in suit search and really like focus down on, so they're looking for some type of product that you're bringing up the right stuff that's available for selling right now. So I think we'll be powering more of those offers during that period with big stock volumes. We'll be putting them through the AI to power it onto the website so that people see that more often. It's a shop window, isn't it? So you have to get that product to people. And as much as they may come in from an advert online where they see the product they want, you just then want to back it up with more interaction with on-site, being able to fill that data and to be able to maybe up basket with them with their recommended products and stuff. So I think it's really important, that side of the business. And I'll be we'll be powering our site a lot with search and those kind of techniques through this period. Making it as easy as possible for people to find those products.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with Clifton, but I don't think it's just for us. It's definitely not just a Black Friday, Cyber Monday importance. It's kind of all year round. So obviously for us, because mostly it is device cases, the customer knows exactly what device they're buying for already. But typically, they will probably have come in looking for either a clear case or a black case, one of our basics. And what's really good is having replatformed, we now have the ability, because of the way we've structured the data, to actually show every single case and to show that there are multiple different colors, to expose that to customers, which means that we are seeing significant sales compared to where we were on some of our more interesting cases that we weren't seeing on our old site, just from customers discovering those. And then I think it's also for us around discovering the information. So it's not just product discovery, it's like the features that the product actually has within it. So especially as part of our search, we now have the ability to surface content as well as products in our search, which especially if people are looking for a feature such as biodegradable or antibacterial, we have the ability to not only give them the product that is relevant, but also help them understand what the feature of our cases does in terms of that piece that they're searching for.
Gotcha. So you can educate the customer on the actual what they're buying. I mean, I have my case. I don't really know. It protects my phone. That's all I know. But obviously, if you can educate them while they're searching, that's going to be very impactful, I imagine.
Yeah, and especially for our brand, because one of the things we're embarking on, and the platform will become a kind of home of the brand as well as just a D2C portal, is actually having that understanding about what makes the brand so significantly different. And because we're material based, we don't just protect the phone from one drop. We actually, most cases protect from like 2 drops maximum. Ours are tested to withstand at least 20. And it's being able to get that information across in the discovery phase of people searching for, why is maybe ours £5 more expensive? Well, because it's going to last you X amount longer and protect your phone from pretty much your life. So it's really for us the ability to educate people through the process and every time they come on site to give them that information, as well as just finding a product.
Yeah, we've used a little bit of that as well, like customer information or product information via like journals, and just understanding like what people will be interested in, because obviously a lot of people just when they're getting into the first kind of pregnancy or baby journey, they don't know a lot of the product ranges and what's coming through. So to understand that journey and to put themselves into that place, we tend to try to educate a lot of the times by using offline online content, which drives them to the website afterwards. But it's more informational, kind of like the old microsite kind of philosophy, but we're doing like Christmas catalogs and what do I need when I first leave the hospital, and what's important when I come back home, and summer catalogs, and those are winter catalogs, all that type of stuff that demonstrates the product, get to know the brands and fall in love with the brands. Like I think Kat's mentioning there with her brand, it's like the Apple effect. It's falling in love with it. It's making sure that they bring out the brand values and make sure people just don't come in once, buy, but they're ambassadors and turn into ambassadors of that brand, so falling in love with it. So we're trying really hard with that. We took that approach about 3 years ago to try and concentrate on our brand, rather than we're still really concentrate on the brands that we sell, but to mix in our brand to be that best baby brands for baby, and to show why we love something. So a lot of it comes with quotes and social proofing from our team as to why we love this brand and why we use this brand, and this is what, because this brand has these values, and we try and bring that stuff out onto the website. And so to give people that knowledge. And I think once you fall in love with a brand like that, you tend to be more consistent buying it, and hopefully they'll then just buy it through us because they can find the right stuff on our site that educated them last time, and they can learn about new stuff. So that's our kind of like journey there, is to really nurture that customer.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I think as a consumer, I'd say about 10 years ago, I used to just go to a department store and I didn't know the brand. I just bought whatever I needed. But versus now, since working at Shopify in the past few years, I think what the brand stands for, and whether they're reselling another brand or they're selling their own product, what they stand for means a lot, because ultimately it's kind of who you are. It's a part of you to a certain extent. I think as buyers are getting more educated, they want to know that. They want to know what the company is about, what the product really does. It's no longer just a thing. It really is the company as well that you're buying into. So I think everyone here definitely aligns with that value, and we're seeing that just become more and more true over time.
Yeah, I think sustainability is massive now, and we're trying to look at all those angles of where we're shipping and how we're doing getting that to the customer in a as least impact to the environment as possible. We're bringing out some new things next year for the shipping, and hopefully we can get that kind of message across to the user more, so they can become more patient with maybe their deliveries, and trying to educate people that way. I think if online shopping becomes a more stable thing, last thing we want to do as consumers is to just keep micro ordering, because it's just going to cause a massive impact on our environment. So I think there's elements of our company and our brand that we would love to educate and try to change some of that. I know other brands are doing that as well. So that's a really thing. And UPS have just taken on a lot of green shipping and stuff like that. So that's really, they're looking at it as at that angle. And I think we have to look at the long-term picture. It's not just about Black Friday, Cyber Monday this month. It's about that long-term stable, business growing in this new world we're living in at the moment.
Absolutely. So looking now, Black Friday, we're talking a lot about Black Friday, Cyber Monday. There's so many things going on. I guess the one thing I'd ask is, do you feel like you're ready for the influx of business that you're going to have?
Do you want to go, Charlotte? Are you ready?
You never we're never ready enough. Well, I would like to say yes. We're actually currently updating the site, so that's why it's still down. Yeah, we're just making sure we can do everything we can, really. Now we're actually having conversation with the warehouse, because we just find out that they've got a maximum, like a limit to the file we can send them, in terms of like how many orders we can send them. So we might actually crash the warehouse if we do get too many orders. So anyway, it's just all about planning and all right. Yeah, I lost what was the question again?
Basically, do you think the website is ready for the influx of customers?
I mean, the website itself is ready. It will be ready. I mean, it's not ready just now if you go on it, but it will be ready. Yeah, we've put everything in place, everything that we could do. We've done it. We worked on the discovery piece as well, just try to kind of show the full product range to the customers. We are, now that we're working with Shopify, we're confident that the site will hold the traffic as well. Things that we used to have before is every time we were running a promotional offer, the site would just crash. So that was just constant. We pretty much were crashing the site every other month. So now we know that it's going to hold. and just get all the marketing in place as well. So yeah, we're very confident that we will hold. We're more kind of, it's more the operation side now that is a bit of a kind of a worry, especially in this kind of COVID time where you never know what can happen. Someone at the warehouse can be tested positive tomorrow, and you don't really know. You can't plan for the unexpected. But yeah, we're doing our very best in this time. But yeah, I'm confident the site it will be ready.
The site will take orders. Now it's just going to be figuring out how all the fulfillment will be and everything on the back end.
Yeah, that's kind of the key thing here. Yeah, definitely, and not just for Christmas, because not just for Black Friday, because Christmas is a really important time for us as well. It's a very gifting kind of product, Joseph. So obviously we'll have an influx of orders, but we want to shift them as soon as possible, because we know that once Black Friday is over, we'll still get quite a decent amount of orders, and we still want to fulfill these customers, and we still want them to receive their order before Christmas, really. So yeah, that's going to be the priority for the next 4 or 5 weeks, really.
Yeah, we're the same. We are not really worried about the issues we had last year and earlier this year, in terms of actually the site just not being stable enough to actually take any volume of traffic. We had numerous issues. Our challenges will be to do with getting enough stock in, because obviously a large majority of our sales go through iPhone, and with the iPhone launch having happened and one about to happen literally a couple of weeks before Black Friday, they kind of, all the volume runs into each other. So yeah, it's trying to get that back end to ensure that we can deliver as well as stock, especially in the UK, where we've seen a significant increase in demand for the newer products. And then now with lockdown, and lockdown being over Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the volume we are now expecting to come through the site has significantly increased. So yeah, we're really certain of it maintaining itself, but do we have enough stock and warehouse capacity to deliver it? But I think one of the advantages we do have now from our old Magento 2 site is we can react really quickly. We can change promotions, we can put promotions on really, really quickly. We can set up new categories. It used to take us 5 or 6 days to kind of get things set up correctly and showing on our old Magento 2 site. Whereas now, we can do it almost instantly. We can put a new discount code, we can set it up, we can launch it, we can, publish new product. So we have much more control over how we're trading, and we will be able to make those decisions really quickly to optimize everything that we need to do.
Yeah, I think that's really key. It's been able to change and adapt. I mean, we don't know what the marketplace is going to shift like in the next month or in the next 3 weeks. So, I mean, we feel it started now. Are we ready? Yes. Where we got enough stock? Yes. Are we getting more stock? Yeah, it's just coming in daily. It's dealing it in the warehouse. It's processing that stock and turning it around in space. Space is our issue probably, because we didn't kind of expect ourselves to be in this situation. So we're kind of maximizing. We optimized our space before, did that in the actual summer as we hit big levels of orders during the summer period. In anticipation of Black Friday. And I think now we're probably into next year, we'll have to look at more space, because we wouldn't be able to operate on those volumes going forward next year. So I think looking at our setup there, it's all ready to go now. It's just that we're hoping that the suppliers deliver on time and that we can process and turn that around as expected. But we're already kicking off with pre-Black Friday offers now. We went live on Monday with those, so that's generating sales, and we're just hoping to spread it a little bit, maybe not cause so much panic. It's great having that that amazing day, but it does put a lot of strain on the business. And I think previous periods, massive spikes and crazy volumes is fantastic, but it's really hard to deal with. And you put everybody under a strain in the business, and like Kat said earlier, you got to take some back steps sometimes to that. And I think now with this period, it feels like we might be able to handle it better. I think we should do a wash up in January on this call and see what went wrong.
Probably. I mean, like you're saying though, Clifton, initially Black Friday was just Black Friday, and then Cyber Monday came.
Yeah.
And then over the past few years, it's become basically a week-long thing. It's like, you have the week before Black Friday and then the week after Cyber Monday. And now I think we're seeing that almost all of November might be some sort of sale or something, or some sort of promotion to go. So it's changing a lot. And I think, I don't know if anyone knows exactly what is right to do. I think this is
Yeah.
a period of testing. It's a lot of unknowns, but I think the biggest thing is, if you know your customers, you'll make it work for you. But there's a lot of unknowns and a lot of uncertainty, and that's the scary part that I think we all feel for our merchants. But I think if anything, we'll all learn a lot from this. And like you said, I think in January it's going to be very interesting to see what the results were like.
And I said January then, and you said about November. It's going to roll into December for Christmas sales, and then run into January sales. So suddenly you find 3 months of the year is in retail now is kind of discount time, and that is quite scary, because it did used to separate. We did used to turn off offers and turn stuff back on and get a Boxing Day sale ready, or a January sale. And now it is rolling into this 3-month period. So maybe that wash up needs to happen in February.
We'll see. Time will tell. So I think as we're kind of got time for a couple more questions. So we just kind of addressed the idea of your site can handle all the traffic. So how does site search actually help conversion in peak periods? Could you share any examples or any statistics that you have around how that's actually helped when you're seeing large spikes in traffic?
For us, it's about average order cart coming up. So people are more likely to put more items in their cart having used site search than not used site search. So we see, I think, an uplift of something like 50% more items into the cart once they've used the site search. So it really is about getting them to use that search, because that's actually powering the information maybe on tailored products or recommended products, and personalization around the site and going with that. So treating the two areas. When we have a look at our stats, our basket size is up, and the average number of items in that basket are up by interacting with search or with personal recommendations around the site. So I think it can have a negative effect if you get it wrong, because you could be tailoring people off the wrong way. So a lot of research has to go into this. But we find that I think having a really powerful search engine gives you that kind of use, especially when you've got a lot of products. I think and a lot of maybe search terms that maybe and like Kat says, if you're finding content as well, you're driving people to read stuff and learn more and stay on the site, and they're interested. And that's what Google wants for indexing. It wants you to be interested in the site and read it more and stay on there, and then flick into that buying process. So yeah, for us, it's a really, really important part of the technology stack in our business.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to say the same, but I would actually say that we don't actually know, because our previous search was not very good. And probably wasn't utilized in the right way, and certainly wasn't tracked. So we don't have those insights. So actually being able to gather those is really important. And I think, especially from my team, given how quickly we've done the re-platform, actually having a search that kind of learns itself and isn't just based on building, you putting in this, having to maintain the synonyms, and really doing that natural language processing and learning what customers are looking for when they're searching for things really helps us from a initial stage, especially having launched right in just at the beginning of November, to have a good search in place straight away to cover that peak period, to get those learnings that we can then take into next year is kind of really vital from a decision of kind of what search you use.
Yeah. Charlotte, I mean, you have a pretty large catalog.
Yeah, well, we've got about 400 SKUs, yeah, so search is the same for us. It's everything is up really. Average order value, conversion rate, average time spent on the site. It's fantastic when a user kind of wants to engage with the search. For us, we're still very much at the beginning of the journey. Search has never really been something we've invested a lot of kind of thoughts and efforts into. So it's definitely something we want to pick up post-peak. Yeah, there's a massive difference between the two. It's about 4 times higher in terms of conversion rate when they do engage with the search.
Wow.
And having said that, most of our customers are actually searching for a product we don't have on the site anymore, but regardless, they're still converting 4 times. They're still more likely to convert 4 times. So they're looking for knives at the moment on the site, but we had to take them off the site because of legal requirements in the UK. Yeah, and regardless, they're still converting, even though they can't quite find the product they're looking for. So yeah, it's definitely something we need to really work on, and not just on desktop, but also on mobile, I would say. Search is super important on mobile. So yeah.
Gotcha. So with the time that we have left, I think we want to open it up to our audience. There are some questions I think that are coming in. So the first question was from Rob at the beginning. He came in a bit late. He said, can we confirm who everyone is and where they come from? So we have Kat Evans from Tech21. We have Clifton Vaughn. Is that right, Cliff?
Yep.
Yep.
Perfect.
From Natural Baby Shower, and Charlotte from Joseph and Joseph. Rob also asked the question, what other backend technologies have you introduced?
For us, our ERP is NetSuite. And when we were on Magento, we were using a middleware to integrate with NetSuite. We actually this year, so most of the issues that we had in the past was when the middleware was just not able to connect Magento to NetSuite, and that was just breaking down the whole thing. So we actually brought this in-house, and so it's a little bit technical, but now we use Boomi. So we've got an integration via Boomi connector on our Shopify store to NetSuite, and it's a lot more reliable. And with stress tests, we've done a lot of stress tests, and it's holding. So yeah, that's the main kind of change that we've introduced on top of migrating to Shopify, obviously.
For us, I think for backend tech, we get involved with, rewards programs. If we're talking about website side of things, reward programs, review systems, we tend to then look at, using native Shopify Plus kind of technology in scripts, flows, launch pads, just to drive those kind of events on site. We use email marketing with Klaviyo, and we're powering that. We got an ERP with Brightpearl. We're using Front for a bit of that communication with our customer and base. WMS, so to pack and ship our goods, we're doing it all ourselves. We're not putting it out to a 3PL, so we're doing it in-house. So we're utilizing Brightpearl's technologies with WMS, so that's packing and shipping our stuff nice and quickly and looking after our inventory. Yeah, that's it. And we just put in a new telephone system to try and integrate with Front. So we're now using Aircall to drive our calls through to our site. And we've already noticed this morning, we actually only turned it on this morning, and we've actually noticed that a lot of calls that are coming through are being diverted much quicker and faster, and the customer service team are able to get on working with their job rather than answering calls that don't need to be there. So I think a real streamlined effect happening already. So we're just monitoring that at the moment. We're doing pre-reports for that. So yeah, I think that's a really useful, especially with everyone working from home. What a perfect time to get involved into another phone system where we can get hold of everybody when they're working from home. Yeah.
Yeah, so for us, the only other, apart from obviously doing the re-platform, the only other technology that we introduced was Limworks to manage all our inventory and order management. But that is because we wanted to centralize all of our D2C operations, so our marketplaces and our own sites, so that we had one central place to be able to manage pricing, stock, and orders. Which will also allow us to get better fulfillment for our website down the road. So if we are out of stock in our own 3PL, we potentially can fulfill from our FBA locations in addition. So it allows us greater flexibility to actually deliver for the customer.
Amazing. I think we'll give everyone a second to see if there's any more questions from the attendees. But before we go, I guess any parting words of wisdom, if I think if you could go back to your first major sale in your career, if there's something that you could tell yourself that you'd do, what would it be? In one sentence too. I'm going to make this a little more challenging.
It's challenging. I think I would say maintain and look after that customer and treat them as best you can, because they're the ambassadors for your brand. Is that a small enough sentence?
Yeah, it's a sentence. It had a few commas, but it's good. I like it.
Sorry.
Yeah, I guess for me it would be just because everyone else is doing it doesn't mean it's the right thing for your brand. Is something to think about.
Yep.
Yeah, and if you do decide to go for it, all about planning, really. Yeah, it's all about planning.
Absolutely. Well, I'd like to thank you, the three of you, for taking the time this afternoon to, one, just talk about your business, share your wisdom around what is going on with how you're thinking about this holiday season. Again, this is where I think we're all, as much as we can prepare, because that's the one biggest thing I think I took away is prepare and plan. We'll see what happens. But again, thank you so much. So we do have for all the attendees a raffle. So just for some context, the rules of the raffle, using the email address provided, we will randomly select an e-commerce merchant who will be allocated one of the three prizes available, as you can see on the screen. The selected winner will receive an email confirming they have won one of the three partner representatives. So that'll come from Pete from Space 48, Alex from Bright Pearl, or Claudia from Clavio. So we will, they'll notify you right away once you go through this. But again, everyone, thank you for your time. If you have any questions, we go to the last slide. There's one more. Yep, there you go. So feel free to screenshot this. If you have any questions for us, anything, feel free to email us. We're here to help answer any questions, but hopefully this was helpful. Thank you all for taking the time, and we're going to see how this holiday works out, but I'm very hopeful. And again, to our merchants and our partners, thank you so much for taking the time today.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.